let's go to Nina and see what's going on while this is being accomplished.
Well, she's probably pretty occupied trying to get, the right people out, the ones that aren't, actually active policemen and women.
Well, you initiated that. You initiated that already with your popularity check. There's nothing else you can do besides what you've already accomplished.
So it's it's happening.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I think she would actually try to see if she can find some sort of weapon. I know she has mental force technically, but she's setting down. In case that she would know where they would, have their armory and whatever. Like she's actually trying to get something.
They have some of your javelins in the evidence locker.
That's true. Right. That's also nice. Probably, I think they're close to each other. I suppose, or something like that.
I don't think it's very hard for you to get in there.
No. So she will actually try to get hold of her javelins. Obviously, that's what she actually can use, and maybe firearm as well if she can find one.
I also don't think that's going to be much of a problem. You have established a rather good shadow network of buddies in the police station.
Mm-hmm.
That has been established over the past week. And if you need X, Y, or Z and grab somebody's elbow as you pass each other in the corridor, you'll probably be able to get it.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to mount some defense here,
And I have another question, which is, did you bring any incriminating mask or anything like it in your little tote bag?
No, she wouldn't have that to on her way to work.
Okay, so you don't risk bringing in your silverlance and stuff to work?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't believe so.
Okay.
Not on a Sunday anyway, it's extraordinary and everything, so probably wouldn't have.
Okay.
Wanted it.
All right. So therefore that means you're busy arming yourself this turn. Now technically that would take a little more time than a few seconds, but we can expand the turns a little bit. We can what you guys were describing about the powers coming into conflict is not necessarily just a few seconds either. Now it's going to be basically a matter of whether she can push her power, which is to say this cloud, through yours. And that's going to be a matter of simply area effect of the powers. And so that means that first she's going to have to roll just to see, since it's just a little bit stronger, that means she needs a green result. But on the other hand, but to actually extend it right through that area, she's going to need to make an endurance check. So, and it seems to me as though I'm not sure if I should allow you some sort of defensive roll or not, but we'll find out. Okay, so first, well, that's not a problem. And then can she extend it is the next question. Her endurance is... Oh, look at that. This character is really overpowered. I don't know who made her up. Okay. So, anyway, your barrier is beginning to get... I mean, you did a lot of damage to the edge of her effect and stopped it, but it is very powerful, and you can see her actually adopt a kind of a hand in front of her face concentration as the intensity of the cloud concentrates in front of her rather than being dispersed around her equally. And so, therefore, the wind and the fire are starting to get overwhelmed, at least in terms of it moving closer to the police station. She hasn't put out the fire or stopped the storm, but especially because in a minute you're going to get more fuel. But the point is that it is you're up against a very savage force here. That's something you can tell. Seeing this, you might not think that a cloud of bugs could do anything to a building, but seeing this, you are beginning to suspect that maybe this would in fact penetrate, the actual facade of the building. Maybe not shatter it, because that wouldn't make any sense, but penetrate it and shred it to some extent, yes. Okay, well, this is fairly brutal. So during that turn, basically we get a Rambo sequence, or at least an A-team sequence of Nina, checking the ammunition, and I think and it is at this time that so we're still in the end of that same first turn. The other actors on her part are some of the dwarfish, tiny person, winged people with bug features who have flown up with her and now are going to zoom toward both Moore and Vernie Vinden. So they had to fly a bit, and so they're not quite there yet. They will be acting next time, but next time they will be very definitely in range. Very definitely in range, and that they have very nasty claws. Or claw effect. Chewing and gouging. All right. So that is just letting you know that they are in play. All right. I believe we will have initiative for the next turn.
Yes. Roll the dice.
Oh, and by the way, the fuel tanks or the barrel, I'm thinking of those plastic barrels, like white plastic barrels, or maybe there's some other color, but that they're people are pulling out of the storage at the lower level, which is actually quite close to where you are. It's actually just behind you, really.
Yeah. If it's fuel storage, it would be metal barrels, I would think, because of chemical reactions. Like, it's not sensible to have fuel storage in plastic. At least for that, large storage.
Okay. Well, that's difficult, of course. There'll be some very scared people or brave individuals are wheeling a couple of fuel barrels up to be within your range. So we have that. Here's my die roll. And do tell me what you get.
We rolled a 4, so 8.
Okay. Again, the heroes are going first. So you have matched your powers and done a rather good job with your own powers, and it's barely able to slow down the advance of her cloud. But you did keep it from hitting the building once. The question is, and those will still be in play, both the storm effect and the fire effect, as previously rolled, will still be in play, unless you want to do more with them, in which case that would be your action, or you can do something else.
Well, let's keep the fire going. This is just...
You don't have to keep rolling to keep it going. You'll only have to roll if you want to do something else with it.
Okay.
In other words, I'm not going to make you just sit there and fire control, just to keep the same effect rolling. That's silly.
So, yeah, because now we have the the bigger bugs coming as well.
Yeah, I wonder what I could do if I.
Yeah, I think Mer would probably ask if Riverwind can take.
Christopher, let Alien go. She was right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if I use something from my cloud, does that affect the thing that I'm doing with the cloud right now? Can I do two things?
Yes, you have already set up the weather effect. And if you want to, and as the wall of wind and fire, and I think I'm going to let that effect continue as, you basically created it, and it's not just going to go away.
Yeah.
So now what will you do with it? It's like saying, it's like if you caused it to rain, and then if you zap somebody with lightning in the next turn, it's not like the rain stops.
All right. Yeah. If I could, how many bugs were there? How many small things?
Oh, wait, where did we go? I am prepared.
I don't think like zap a lot of them at the same time.
I'm not saying
so I don't know how many they were.
Ooh. Well, there are about 7 of them. And if you want, and remember that you can, if you want to strike a given target, that's one thing. I mean, that's possible. I'm looking at the power descriptions here to be sure. Your storm effect is actually an area effect. You have 2 areas and more if you want to exert yourself. And you also have, it says lightning bolts can be called down and can be all weather effects, require a feat roll to succeed, and cause damage equal to the power rank if used to attack someone. Now, someone is an individual. So, so that's something that I want you to consider. It's also going to be hard for them to fly in the first place. So they're going to actually have to make their flight rolls against your power in order to get where they want to go.
Yeah.
So you've already got them blocked somewhat.
On them.
What's that?
If I make it rain on them, do they stop the ability to fly?
I think that's probably very unlikely. Kevin has a good reason, and I'm going to give you some information. All
right.
You are not going to be able to attack them. You could attack them with area just with the wind and storm, just with the storm.
Yeah.
And if you did that, then basically it's a matter of moving them away and preventing them from getting clear through to approach. You could do that. But to get all of them like that is just an area effect and isn't technically an attack that will do damage. If you want to, so you have that option. The other option is to concentrate on one of them and to use any storm effect you want to zap it or shred it apart with wind or whatever it is you want to do.
Okay,
you could also prepare to close with them and just go claw to claw, but that's also up to you.
No, I don't think that seems too scary. I think I'll use the storm to try to not to keep them from coming to us.
Perfect. So what you'll need to do to that is you're basically up against their flight ability, and so you've got that's amazing. You're going to have to get I'm treating their flight ability as their as your difficulty. And again, they are totally overpowered. Oh no. Oh, that's not so bad. Huh. You only need a green feat. Your storm is more powerful than their flight.
Wow. Okay, good.
And this affects the whole, this affects all of them as they are coming close.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll use karma for a green.
Okay.
73.
Spend 10. And I believe that'll get you a yellow result, correct? Yes, it does. And so, therefore, yes, in a display of storm power, the minions go tumbling and, are unable to orient properly and get scattered back against the back of the cloud.
Nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. So you have basically taken them out of, you sent them a few areas. You sent them an area or two back, right? They've been sent back there. Okay. So Christopher, sorry to make you wait. What did you have in mind?
No, what I had in mind was essentially be more like, take care of the swarm, please take care of the large ones. So I intend to hold my fire control, and like now that I have gotten that fuel, I essentially like try and tie that fuel source in to be prepared to expand the fire.
That is an endurance check. That is so, like, the rules say when you do that, do this in a very clear instruction. So you have an endurance check to make.
Yes.
Green is all you need.
Yeah, endurance is my worst stat, but I will spend karma for this because it's a poor ranked stat. And I roll a 73, so
that's not bad.
Yeah.
So poor 73. I mean, that is a green result. So yeah, I spend 10.
Okay. Excellent. Okay, so we have, so that means that you have basically done to her wall, her cloud against your cloud. You're basically, each of you are doing an endurance game of trying to push through the other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and like now, I tie in the new fuel source, like just to be able to push back against what she's pushing at me.
Exactly. And so right now we have a very horrific kind of primarily flame. I mean, because you just added a bunch of fuel to this, and you have are now able to cover a lot more area, which basically means you extend, into push an area back. So she almost got to the building, and you have pushed it back. So the two of you right now are doing sort of a almost, I would say, a psychic battle, except that you're drawing on your bodily reserves of endurance to do it. Mm-hmm. Right? So she's up there, sweating and glaring, and you're basically starting to hum and tick and buzz, right? Mm-hmm. With the exertion.
Yeah. It is a bit of like that tropey, like two superpower beings shooting their different colored energy beams at each other, and the collision is moving back and forth.
That's exactly what's going on. Treat that as a two-dimensional wall, and that's exactly what we've got. Yeah. And meanwhile, the storm has whipped up, and since the two of you are working in very direct coordination, that means that the storm is not destroying your effect at all. But at the moment, it has whipped her minions, away. And so,
is there any way to communicate with her right now?
I don't think so. I mean, everything what we've just described seems like it's got sound effects of some significance, right? True. So, howling winds, roaring flames, that awful bone rattling hum of the cloud, teeth grinding, subsonic effect of the cloud of bugs. All those things are
Right.
are dominating the whole area. All right, so that is occurring, and I think that that it's her action. The various minions are going to have to. I wish I could find a better word than minions. It's kind of been destroyed by certain things. And I'm also taking her taking her state of mind into account. She is not going to avoid risk. I can tell you that much. So, therefore, her various the various little dudes are going to have to cope with, and they're not going to use karma for this. They'll use it if they fail next time. But that one does not. That one does. Okay, one of them gets through, or that one, 2 out of 4. Okay, so 4 out of the 7 are able to reorient. 3 of them are out of the fight. So actually, it was kind of a hard roll, so they got a little bit lucky. But 4 of them are managing to recover their positions, even though they are way far back now from where they were. So that's what they do. She basically blasts herself into, she approaches, the flying. Now, she doesn't have wings. It's not really clear. Maybe she's suspended by the bugs themselves. It's kind of hard to tell. But she will, in fact, descend, and she's going to come forward, directly forward, and is actually going to subject herself to getting hit with the flames, the wall of flames, and that's going to burn off a bunch of the cloud that envelops her. But so basically the bugs take the hit so that she can get through. And in a somewhat diminished cloud of bugs that you can see trailing behind her as she moves, she's actually going to land right in front of Vernivi Vinden, who I believe had not informed me that you went invisible.
No.
Right. And
I'm
so
invisible.
Yes. And so, and therefore she is going to, basically going to do something that seems almost a little terrifying after sort of descending right in front of you in this dramatic attacking, standing pose as her feet touch down. And then she reaches out with almost a gentle touch. Just almost a gentle touch on you. 46, and she needs a 51. Okay, so she only spends 5 karma. So she succeeds, and there's a creepy crawly, tick embedding kind of sensation at the point of contact of her hand on you, which is actually a little bit alarming. It's a fair amount of space. It's like a circular space around the span of her hand on you. And that is her action.
So it's not like I don't sense that she's trying to hurt me. It's just
I'm really sorry to tell you that that would be rather foolish of you. It is very clear that she is in fact trying to hurt you. A feat roll for the poison, using the poison's potency rank. She's going to have to spend karma for 7 to 26, so she actually has to spend some karma to make that work, which she does. Okay, well, you do not start dying immediately, so that's good. If the feat succeeds, right. So, okay, you're going to lose. You're going to be overwhelmed by the chemical neurological impacts of this. It's going to affect you for 2 rounds. I shouldn't tell you that, but I'll tell you so we don't lose track. So,
All right.
and so that's what's happening there. She is quite pleased with herself at this point. She has effectively done something terrible to you, and you don't even know what it is yet.
Okay, so I get some kind of poison thing.
2 rounds off.
And I can't
do
anything.
Technically, you're unconscious now for 2 rounds.
Okay.
Although what that really means is you're staggering around aimlessly with your limbs jerking around. Okay. Next round.
I roll a 5.
Okay.
So that becomes a 9.
The heroes will go first again. Maybe we'll give it to Christian to go first this time.
Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty easy. She's gonna try to get out of the building, go into the where the actual fighting is happening. So you should probably spend entire action moving there. Trying to get a hold of anyone that seems vaguely armed on the way. This is the way. We should go this way.
Right. Well, that's probably they're probably starting to mobilize to try to support the heroes anyway. And so at least some of the people who are trained for that kind of thing will be, they're probably armoring up, right, with whatever protective equipment that they have. But yes, you can get with them and make your way forward. Are you going to try to get any protective equipment?
Yeah, since she's presumably in the armory anyway, she probably would have get the bulletproof vest, and I think critically balaclavas, which the police have to wear.
Right.
At least the more armed police.
Right. Okay.
Which happens, might happen to grab one.
I see.
And get the vest and get take off her normal jacket and not perhaps make anonymizing herself a bit, as a
little bit, right? Okay.
Put on the helmet, riot helmet.
Okay, so good enough. That will get you to the outside. You'll probably be able to get out through the area where they had delivered the fuel. So you are in that back parking lot of the police station, that very small back parking lot. All right. And from there, you can see the mayhem. I mean, you can actually... and given what I said about the area, now the area you're in actually is a fairly small area because there are trees and cars and things. So that shrinks, right, what an area can be. So you're in your own area, and all of the drama, especially what's happening with Verna V. Vinden, is the next area away. You would actually have to be going through the trees to get there. It's not blocked or anything, so I'm not going to treat it as cluttered, but it is definitely an area shrinking effect.
Yes.
So one area away, but that's where you are. How about Mur and is Verna V. Vinden is out of the picture for this round? What is up for Mur?
Mur intends to change focus of his fire control, and he's going to make a fire spear around, attempt to essentially make a fire spear around Vordal's head, burning off her oxygen.
Okay.
And trying to knock her out.
Right. So this is going to be an attack, which is technically... Okay, technically this is shooting and throwing, I think, and what you're aiming at is a bullseye, which is the yellow, to have a precise effect. I don't think it will do any more damage than it ordinarily does, which is 30, 30 points. But the fact is that if you get the bullseye, then her defenses will not stop it. That's the cool thing about the bullseye, right? You're actually getting through the gaps in the defense.